Hey there, and welcome to my Total War Warhammer 2 Skaven playthrough. Before we go into the actual meat of the campaign, let's go over a bit of information. Down below I'll have timestamps which will guide you to parts of the video where you might want to have a specific question answered, such as, how did a Skaven play, and all of that. I can only show you so much footage, and to let you know as a preface, CA did allow me to attend a Warhammer 2 event where I was allowed to play the game. Now that we have that all out the way, I'm going to let Quick Headtaker begin to narrate the beginning of our campaign. And before that, I'm going to let you know right now, every faction has 2 legendary lords for a total of 8 legendary lords. And we're looking at one of them right now for our Eye of the Vortex campaign for Warhammer 2. Here we go.
Squirt musk of fear, vermin, for the head taker comes before you. I has mission from council itself. That how important I am. Southlands under attack from elf things. Clan Moors sent to kill elf things and find warpstone. Warpstone essential. Elf things come from Sea Fortress. In time, we'll take that too. Good base for Quick, maybe. Yes? Fight elf things, kill elf things, more stuff, more heads, more glory for Quick.
Okay, here we go right now. To let you know, the Skaven comprise what is called the Under Empire, which means they're able to settle ruins all over the world. Other factions cannot actually see them unless they perform a few actions, such as trying to settle a ruin or going on a treasure hunt, which I'll show you that later on. It's kind of like a D&D choose your own adventure setting where you get 4 choices that might have a positive or negative outcome. And I'm doing post commentary right now, so I'll be talking as the gameplay goes on. If you want to see more, you can pause and look at it.
Things that march against us shall pay. Eshin spies, say, pointed-eared no-furs steal Quick's treasures. We take them back. All things are Quick's.
And you can even use a hero to scout out a ruin. There's a lot of filters added to the game that I can't really show you just yet because I didn't have the time. But if you're a fan of Civilization and you like the campaign map, or if you just like this campaign map for Total War games in general, they add a lot more utilities and tools to help you navigate the campaign map and have a better time. So, you're looking at a pre-battle option for the Menace Below. A core mechanic of the Skaven is food. They constantly have to eat food, and you're able to replenish food by winning battles, sacking settlements, raiding in enemy territory, or even building key buildings and settlements with overall farming support. And whenever you have high food stores, you have faster growth for your towns, you have better morale, better public order, and all of that. If you have low food, there's a lot of negative penalties too. So we're looking at our warp-fire throwers, our clan rats, our storm vermin, and you probably know all about storm vermin if you've played a certain game. The Vermintide is real. So the Menace Below, that ability that you saw, that is a unique army ability, again, unique to the Skaven, that allows them to summon a unit of burrowing clan rats to enter the battle anywhere that you want. You can have them hold enemy units in a location, you could flank enemy artillery units if you want to, you could go after whatever that you want, and there's a maximum number of times that you could use that ability. That is overall determined by your Skaven corruption, which you saw mentioned early on. So right now, we're getting our army together with Quick Headtaker, who's a great duelist. He's very powerful. He's got very high armor, 120 armor, 40 speed. So it's not very fast, but he's very heavily fortified. Clan Moors is a clan that he leads. There are a variety of clans for the Skaven under Empire. They comprise of what's called the Council of 13. There's actually 12 Lords of Decay, or whatever they're called. The 13th is meant to be the Great Horned Rat, which is their god. And I'll be zooming in a lot and trying to show you the battle as it is right now. So for a little bit more about the campaign, Skaven armies have an ability called Stalk. You know how you can have your guys do a forced march, a raid, form a raiding camp, or whatever, depending on the faction. Well, you have one called Stalk for the Skaven. Whenever you move, you also get a very high chance to ambush your enemies, which again ties into the whole theme of Skaven being involved in subterfuge and being able to ambush enemies. So here we go right now. My gameplay might not be the best in the world in terms of skill. I had to learn how to play the game live. There are so many new abilities for every legendary lord and spells too. I didn't have time to read them all. I had to quickly learn how to play the game on the fly. And right now I'm showing you the map because I thought it was quite beautiful. There's a lot more variety in what we'll be seeing now that we're not in a more typical type of setting. Alright, here we go right now. We're about to find a little high elven army. So to let you know, another feature that we'll be looking at later on are based around what's called a rite. Every race in Warhammer 2 will have 4 unique rites, and that will be campaign level spells that can be used to bring major bonuses. For example, the Skaven can summon a unique hero called the Doom Engineer. The Doom Engineer can go towards a city and cause a devastating earthquake, heavily damaging buildings and reducing its settlement size. Now he does die in the process of doing that. You even have a pestilent scheme priest that can also be brought in, and that priest can spread a terrible plague in enemy territory that can cause attrition and other negative effects in that area over time. And that can be caught and spread by armies on the move who might go through that specific province. So here we go right now. We're charging in. I didn't know how much I would like the Skaven. You know, a lot of people absolutely love them and I thought they would be cool, and I was like, okay, sure, Skaven. But when I actually got a chance to play them, I was like, oh my goodness me. They have so many tools that you could utilize. There's more Skaven going after their archers. And the balance definitely did feel different. Now, one thing that I want you to watch during the gameplay is the actual animations. The animations for combat are so much better than they were, even for dying, even for fighting, whatever else. There's a quest battle where in the very beginning, I'll probably show you a clip of really cool animations. Alright. Let them keep on doing their thing. And there we go. So, a major theme of the Skaven is that they are plentiful, and because of that, they are relatively weak to begin with, only fielding super light, super cheap units, like the Skaven slaves or clan rats, which makes up a majority of your numbers early on, rather. But later on, as time goes on, whenever they hide in their settlements, they begin to grow, they begin to experiment more. Imagine any type of unethical type of medical experimenting group in World War II. That is what you have here. They're like a steampunk faction that's able to do whatever they want when it comes to experimentation. And so you're going to see a lot of devious and terrible creatures as you begin to upgrade and move on. Again, a major part of the game that I want you to focus on is the actual animations. They look amazingly good, especially when you watch major giant creatures fight each other. So right now, I'm going after a variety of units, trying to break them. I was really shocked about how many of them would break and come back and actually stay and fight. Usually, currently in Warhammer, when you break a unit, they'll come back momentarily, but they're not there for a long time. So here's me using my ability called the Minutes Below. And if you look at them right now, they can only be there for so long. They're glowing, they begin to decay over time. They take time to fully set up, so that's a good thing to keep in mind that I learned about. You might want to time it to be put ahead of an enemy. Alright, so here we go right now. And I'll be talking about rituals too. So in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, which is a little bit different from the major campaign that you'll be seeing later on, a lot of people wanted to know what will be happening with the combined maps that you'll be seeing later on. Well, about that, a little bit of time after Warhammer 2 comes out, you'll be able to play the Warhammer game on the entire map. And what I mean by that is that the map from Warhammer 1 and 2 will be combined, where you'll be able to play as any race that you own. So if you own every race from Warhammer 1 without Warhammer 2, you'll still be able to play on the actual map, but you'll only be able to play the races that you own in Warhammer 1, which is completely up to you. Again, that is going to make your game huge. That's going to be more of a sandbox type of gameplay mechanic. But for the Skaven, or not just for the Skaven, but for Warhammer 2, there are 4 campaigns that you can play, or 8 technically if you want to choose each individual legendary lord. But anyway, that is called the Eye of the Vortex campaign, which is separate from the global sandbox campaign of Total War, Warhammer 1 and 2. And so every faction in Warhammer 2 has their own type of ritual, and that is based around the Vortex. And as you go on, you gain what's called ritual currency for every race. And so for the Skaven is called the Precious Warpstone, which is what Morslea, the moon, is made out of. And it's all that green glowing stuff that looks like Tiberium from Command and Conquer. Trust me, I'm aware of that. And so as you get enough currency for your ritual, you can activate a ritual. And there's a lot of stuff to that. There's a lot of narrative movies that you can play with each completed. Oh, hello.
Experience over time, my lord. Be sure to guide their development to your advantage.
So yeah, if you look at it right now, we have 53 food. We have over 5,000 gold. Our income is over 2,100. The overall tutorial, wow, I don't even know where that came from. Tutorial is much more involved, and you can turn this off if you want to, but it does teach you how to play the game. So if you're new to Total War Warhammer or whatever, here's a great time to join in. So right now I'm going to go over the abilities quickly. If you want to actually look at them in detail, pause and read about them. But there's a lot of new abilities for the campaign map, for battling, for increasing the capabilities of your army, whatever that you want. And these are just the ones for Quick Head Taker. There's a lot more that you'll be able to look at later on. So whenever that you do a ritual that has to do with the Vortex, there's a lot of risk that comes with that. It can cause a magical disturbance. I want you to picture the winds of magic as being the water in a bathtub. And if you fill up the tub too much, well, you flood, right? Okay, so the Vortex is like a bathtub drain, constantly draining the water out, keeping the tub from overfilling. Well, let's say that you begin to play with the tub. You begin to make splashes in the water. That is basically what a ritual does, and that can have negative connotations too. And that can cause the forces of chaos to slip into the world, who will definitely go towards one of your ritual sites, and that will be where you'll probably try to commit to a ritual. But again, I'm taking my time trying to show you every ability that I can. I'm trying to show you as much information as I can because I know that you'll probably want to see whatever that you can. And there's a lot here. Crimson Guard, life is very cheap, violent rise to power. And we're nearly done. We're not quite done yet. We have a battle effect +2 to our uses of the minutes below, so we can use it 8 times right now. We have a variety of missions, but yeah, if you look at the top part, to the right of our food, which is now at 54, you have our ritual currency, and different things can be pinged and unlocked every time. So if you look at it right now, here's the map. The map is fucking huge. There's Ulthuan, where the High Elves live, and here's the Southlands over here. Lustria's to the west. So that's a huge amount of lands, man. You're gonna be able to do so much. And there's the Vortex right there, which is beautiful to look at. Terrible, but also beautiful too. Let's check it out. Going down to Lustria. I just wanted to make sure that you could look at all of the map right now. It's going to be a lot of factions that you'll be able to add in, like the Tomb Kings, I wonder if they'll do anything with the Vampire Coast, which is basically undead fucking pirates, which is cool. So here's our type of conditions over here, the final battle, whatever that means, right? I wonder if that actually alludes to the end time. I don't know. I didn't get to play that far. But these are all the factions that we need to take out. If you want to go for a domination victory, well, you've got to do a lot. You've got to take control of such a large amount of the map. You'll be fighting all over the world before you're able to actually do that. So let's keep on looking right now. To let you know, if a player encounters ruins or one of the glimmering points of interest that appear at sea, you may explore them in a treasure hunt, and that could be rewarding. And that could be rewarding in very many ways. You could have buffs, magical items, currency, but there can be a risk too, where there could be, again, as I mentioned, negative events. And I'm trying to show you all over the map where you need to go. And if you look on the right hand side, Skaven corruption, that is one of those type of filters that I was talking about. There's more filters than just that can show you what's going on the map, and they're so damn good. I love that quite a bit. I wanted more to be involved on the campaign map, which we now have, I might add. Okay, so that is a lot of the map. Looks like I'm about to finally get back into the gameplay, which is good. Okay, so there's a little bit more that I want to talk about before I just talk about what's in the game at hand. There is loyalty in the game for the factions that are based around intrigue. The intrigue-based factions are largely the Skaven and the Dark Elves, and again, I'm trying to show you the map because there's so much information now. It looks very cool. There's our food over there. If you get too low, you'll have a bunch of penalties. If you are very high with it, you'll have a lot of bonuses. You can see everything that you need to know about the campaign map in this overview. Looking at the missions, the forces, how they play, all the world events that we need to know about. And again, any type of glitches or problems that you might see, they'll be polished up and patched up for the actual launch of the game. You're seeing a unreleased version of the game that I had the opportunity to play. So yeah, you saw a glimmering ship right by Zlatan, or whatever, Zlatan. And that is a point of interest where you can have a treasure hunt, which is very important. So let's go ahead and move on right now. There we go. Just keep on going. Oh, hold on. Here we go. So here are the rights. We have the Scheme of Doom. Yes, the Scheme of Great Doom. Send an agent of Skyr to cause great calamity on the things. A unique warlock engineer hero capable of causing a catastrophic earthquake in a foreign settlement will be summoned to at your faction's capital. You need 800 gold. This right cannot be performed. This right will unlock after researching 3 technologies. Then you have the Pestilent Scheme. Good. For the agenda of Archplague Lord Nurglich, summon his agent minion and let the choices of plagues ravage the world. A unique plague priest hero capable of spreading a deadly plague to a foreign settlement will be summoned at your faction's capital. And you need to build a building called the Pestilent Nave Building. Then you have the 13th Scheme. The Lords of Decay has spoken. We evoke a scheme to the 13th plot. All Skaven must unite against things. And you get the army ability, Moore's Clanstone. Enemy action, hero success chance, minus 13%. All characters. And all of your own heroes will have a 13% chance of actually completing their actions on turn start. Lords have a chance to gain loyalty. Diplomatic relations go up by 10 with all Skaven. You need this right to unlock after getting rank 7 with your faction leader. Then you have the Dominating Scheme. Provoke the broodmothers, have them breed. We will flood the overworld with our bodies. Yes. So you get 1 food, income from all buildings plus 30%, growth plus 40 for all provinces, recruitment cost down by 20%, public order plus 2. And that right will unlock after issuing the expansionist planning commandment over a province. And you need 4,000 gold, 20 turns, and now we go on. Here we go. Anyway, about that loyalty, the Dark Elves and Skaven must both work to maintain the loyalty of their lords, as a disloyal lord may mutiny and turn his army against you. There are numerous ways to achieve that, such as recruiting units to the lord's army and keeping him busy. Picture a Game of Thrones, and that's what you have for the Dark Elves and for the Skaven, but amped up by 10 with crack, drugs, violence, puking, sex, debauchery, whatever that you can think of. And yeah, if you look over here, here's all the filters and overlays that you can use. And so you can get a lot of really cool information on the campaign map. On the bottom right, if you look at that little gear and exclamation point, you can have a lot of different filters that won't let you end your turn unless you fill a prerequisite. So if you care about not skipping anything at all, you can do that. If you want to disable it, you can. It's really up to you. You can even change up notifications depending on the faction. So let's say there are factions that you don't care about the news for, but you want to know about news from a next door faction. You could turn off the one from far away and keep the one for the one close to you. Okay, here we go. And so you can actually, for the Skaven, upgrade a settlement with your food, which means that you can quickly upgrade. So let's go look over here real quick. Here's a treasure hunt that I was talking about. 8-legged fiends. Beneath the ruins lies a series of caverns. As you explore, you begin to notice an increasing number of large cobwebs. Rounding a corner, you come face to face with 3 giant spiders who appear to be asleep. Behind them, something glints in the torchlight. So you can turn back, attack the spiders, avoid the spiders and take the item, or take a different path. And that is what I was talking about. Good or bad things could happen here. Alright. What choice will I make as I read it? I'm going to avoid the spiders and take the item. That's what I believe I'm doing, or maybe I'll change my mind at the last moment, which is usually the case. Come on, Surreal. What did you want to do? No, I spent quite a bit of time here reading. There we go. Alright, so we have campaign effects. The second your blade touches the web, hundreds of swallowed spiders swarm from the darkness, engulfing you and your party. All is lost. So for 5 turns, I've got a negative effect. Boo. Now here, I want to show you a battle. I'm actually going after a high elven city. Again, I had to edit things to show you different parts of the game. If I didn't actually do that, well, you wouldn't be able to see the entire game. So here's our watchtowers. I'm setting things up right now. It's a beautiful city. I had 2 stacks at this point. I kept on recruiting. I was feeling quite aggressive. I didn't feel any challenge from my enemies. I knew that I could beat them. And so that is what I was doing. I was heading right into it, fighting them, heading right into all of them. So that is what we have right now. So, yeah, you're going to have 4 different factions: High Elves, Dark Elves, Lizardmen, Skaven. They will all be in here. And, of course, you have the Great Vortex, which is a vast magical maelstrom that roils above the Isle of the Dead in the center of Ulthuan, which is where all the kingdoms of the High Elves reside. Okay. So as we move in right now, I'm hitting multiple parts of the wall. So I'm going to talk about a thing that wasn't really covered, but I'm giving a bit of my own supposition. I'm thinking that because there is a specialist game called Man of War Corsair, that is why Total Warhammer is not allowed to have a naval sea battle. Because those are unique rights given to another game. I could be wrong about that. I'm using spellcasting right now, which is quite cool and quite powerful. I thought that would be a lot of fun to show off, and it is quite a bit of fun. There's so many spells in the fucking game. It's amazing. But anyway, a lot of people will complain about the lack of naval sea battles, and I understand that because that's quite integral to the Norskins, to the Dark Elves, and to the High Elves, especially the Dark Elves with their Black Arcs. The Black Arc will actually function as a mobile city. So you're going to have a city that you'll be able to move all over the world by sea, and that will be your Black Arc, which is quite fucking cool. Not only that, when it's in radius of another battle that you might be fighting, it'll allow you to use magical bombardments in the battle. If you remember in Fall of the Samurai, when you had a ship, you could use bombardments. And that was an expansion for, you know, Shogun 2 called Fall of the Samurai, where you actually had ironclad type of ships where they could issue bombardments and all of that. So here we go right now. I'm attacking various locations in the game. We're going to take them all out. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of new gameplay features, all that are really tied to the specific narrative of each faction in the Vortex campaign. But yeah, you don't need the first game in the trilogy to play Warhammer 2, but if you do own the first game as well as Warhammer 2, you'll be able to choose to play on a huge new combined campaign map. So yeah, owners of both games will have 3 large and different campaign maps to choose from, which is huge. So you might want to know, what do you get if you own Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2? If you own both games, you get 3 huge campaign maps, the original one featuring the old world, a new one featuring the new world and the Vortex, and a combined campaign map featuring both of those areas joined together. If you own any DLC or free DLC for Warhammer 1, like the Chaos Warriors, Wood Elves, and Beastmen or Lord packs, you'll also still have access to their unique narrative campaigns, of course, and will be able to play as those races in the old world campaign and in time the new combined campaign as well. So, what's going on with the mega combined campaign that we've been talking about for a while now? For owners of both Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, the first content released shortly after launch, free of course, will be a vast combined campaign map representing the geographical areas of both games in a single map. And that will allow you to begin a epic campaign for any owned race, including any DLC races you own. So if you want to have Wood Elves in Lustria, well, you can fucking do it. And here we go, we've won the battle. We're drawing to the end of my little gameplay preview. Alright, so here we go right now. Anyway, the plans for multiplayer. Every race in Total War Warhammer 2 will be playable in single and multiplayer campaign, and you have the custom multiplayer campaign battles. As the 2 legendary lords for each race will have their own unique campaign start positions, you'll be able to play a 2-player co-op campaign as the same race. If you own both parts 1 and 2, you'll be able to play in multiplayer as any of the races you own. And there we go, we've won the battle, minimal losses. I mean, they had a very tiny garrison, but I did want to show you that actual location. So, if you get the Collector's Edition, you will have the Norska Race Pack DLC for Total War Warhammer, you'll have the Stone Effect Puzzle Sphere, Carved Bone Effect Totems, Art Book Embossed Metal Case, Exclusive Insider Guide, Sticker Sheet Canvas Map with Lizard Mint Stylized Artwork, and Tsar's Blade Necklace with a hidden 4 gigabyte USB. Okay. It's really a lot of it. You can occupy and upgrade your settlement, which is what I wanted to show you here. You could sack, gain money and replenishment. You can do a lot of things here. I have a lot more food, and here's all of my abilities, like the Musk of Fear. I've only had a little bit to drink. Don't blame me. Look, I had to have a few drinks here. I'm a Skaven. I've got to consume food, and food for me might be a bit of the drink. Anyway, here we go. The Fortress of Dawn. I've showed you a lot of the map, campaign abilities, battles, and I hope that this will be a satisfactory type of preview for the game itself. We're about to be done right now. I did auto-resolve that battle. So that is it for now. I do have other quest battles to show you, but I do hope that you enjoyed this video quite a bit. If there are questions that you have that I did not answer, do ask me that down below, and I will be able to answer that in a future video. So again, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment down below, check out my Patreon if you would like to support my channel, and join my Discord community where I join every day. You can chat with me live at any point. And make sure that you get yourself involved too. People are very friendly. So yeah, to let you know, I'm looking forward to Warhammer 2. If you've been a member of my channel for a long time, you know that I do not get hyped. I do not get crazy about any type of trailer, but I played the game and it's actually fucking good. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to play it and I'm going to love it. And it has a lot more flavor than Warhammer 1. They truly know how to make a Warhammer based game now. It's polished and very good, and I knew that whenever I played Norska, which is also very good, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the game. And they're giving you free content constantly, and even patches that are free to update the base game to have it match up with later impacts that you might have from the overall DLC. So CA is a golden class company. Anyway, I'm done now. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, until then.